Republican Civil War. I just found out about this. Like I was going through TikTok and started seeing they're going against Ben Shapiro versus Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes says that's America first, a white nationalist, and Ben Shapiro, well, he's pro-Israel. So I guess they're going hard at each other recently. I didn't even know this was going on, like I said. But let's check it out. Here we go, Ben Shapiro first.
It is now destroying the Republican Party much in the same way that it absolutely destroyed the Democratic Party, and it's exposing a schism between the party elites, the people in power, the old guard, and the younger generation, which is increasingly going in two dramatically different directions. And there is a full-blown campaign right now.
It's crazy because I started seeing the comments and they were like, Ben Shapiro should get deported. Oh. It's crazy. And
now amongst Republican Party elites to cancel Tucker Carlson and really also to just silence any critics of Israel. Let's get specifically to the recent Republican Jewish Coalition meeting here in Washington, where multiple speakers took the podium to denounce Tucker Carlson, to justify support for Israel. Let's take a listen first to Randy Fine.
Today, Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America. Multiple speakers have talked about the rise of anti-Semitism on the right. But it is not.
So it's basically like pro-Jewish Republicans versus America First white supremacists. First Republicans, white only Republicans. Even though Nick Fuentes has part Mexican, we're the same.
Not enough to speak in platitudes or generalities about the fight. We must call evil by its name. It's chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern-day Hitler Youth. To broadcast.
Like I said, I didn't even know there was like two sides of the Republican Party. I thought they were all together, unified. I guess they are beefing with each other.
And feature those who celebrate the Nazis, those who call for the extermination of Israel, to defend Hamas, to even criticize President Trump for stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions.
Yes, how dare you criticize President Trump for Anyway,
I love that they had Tucker is not MAGA signs printed up.
Right, not an op whatsoever, right? Clearly not designed at Kinko's in a room of 150 people. There, by the way, wasn't just the self-described Hebrew hammer of Republican Randy Fine. We also had Mark Levin, a very vocal supporter of Israel, openly supporting cancellation, deplatforming. Let's take a listen.
Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters.
He's talking about Nick Fuentes right there.
American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system. They don't have a lifetime job like a bureaucrat who we're going to protect. And if they're your friend, there's something wrong with you. No.
So like I said, it's basically Jewish Republicans and pro-Jewish agendas versus what Nick Fuentes represents, pro-white, America First side of the Republican Party. I wonder who's going to win.
No Hitler admirer, Holocaust denier, platformer should be anybody's friend, as a matter of fact. You don't get to wrap your psychotic, mental, unhinged, Nazi, Klan, jihadist bullshit around American patriotism.
He's going hard on that. He's going hard on that.
You don't get to claim you're MAGA and America First when you're lining up with the Marxists and the Islamists and Hamas and the terrorists. That's not America First. That's sick.
We're going to cancel, we're going to deplatform them, and then finally, my personal favorite pitch from Lindsey Graham about what MAGA really is all about. Take a listen in his own words.
I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. So to those who worry about these stupid interviews and far off places, don't worry. The Republican Party has figured it out when it comes to Israel.
I think the Democrats were in the same position. There was like progressive Democrats, and then other ones that weren't that extreme, and they went through the same thing.
We understand that Israel is a friend of America to the bitter end.
We are cutting your taxes and we are killing all the right people. That is now Lindsey Graham's pitch for what MAGA is all about. And all of this is in the context, the fallout of the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview, which has caused like massive consternation here in Washington. Let's go and put this up here from Heritage Foundation, which previously put out a video, which you guys covered on Friday, in defense of Tucker Carlson, but also saying, I disagree with Nick Fuentes. Here's like a long, tortured statement from Kevin Roberts, the president of Heritage, saying, yesterday I said I abhorred views by Nick Fuentes, and a long thing about racism and anti.
It's crazy how Nick Fuentes is so pro-white, but he's still part Mexican. No matter what, no matter what he does, he's still part Mexican.
Semitism are not relics of the past. Actually, anti-Semitism and all of that is a huge problem. Let me just zoom out and kind of give my general take about what's happening here.
Yeah.
This is the same thing that happened in the Democratic Party. Israel has been ripping apart the coalition from the beginning, which is young people who are skeptical of war, who are also deeply concerned about the financial system, and the traditional three-legged stool party elites. Trump was a Band-Aid during the campaign, which could somehow convince an RFK Tulsi supporter to vote for him, in addition to the Republican Jewish coalition and others who say he's the most pro-Israel president of all time. Why did that fall apart? Because like Biden, you're not just in the campaign anymore, you have power. When you have power, you make discrete choices. You made a discrete choice to support Israel. In the vacuum of that, what the Republican Party elites did.
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't even think about it like that. So, in order to get him to power, he was, Trump was going America first, this and that. But then he had to choose, like he said. Is he going to support Israel? He did support Israel. But now, like Nick Fuentes and his following, they're basically saying, you're not putting our agenda about, protecting the white movement, So it's crazy. Like, I didn't even think about it.
Is throughout the entire Biden administration and the early Trump administration, any critic of the government of Israel and of U.S. support for Israel was branded anti-Semitic from the beginning. There was a concerted effort to make sure any critique of Donald Trump on the state of Israel was entirely anti-Semitic. So what happened with a significant portion of young, podcast curious, young dudes who were pro-Trump and who were anti-war? Where do you think that they started to seek out some of their Israel and Trump criticism? That's kind of a secondary part. And this is a sickness that is currently in MAGA media. Nobody is ever able, who is quote unquote pro-Trump or who is not a leftist, to just say basic critiques about the Trump administration. And so there is also a huge appetite for people who are critical of Trump, not even just say.
So where did this go? If Ben Shapiro has half the following, let's say half the following, which is pro-Israel, he is pro-America too, and he's a hardcore Republican, but he's a lot pro-Israel, and he does, whatever it benefits Israel the most. Then there's Nick Fuentes, who has the other half of the following, a Republican, which I heard he's growing by a lot. Like, I heard he's getting a lot of movement, which is America first as well, but white nationalists, we gotta protect the white race and all that stuff. But Trump already chose that he's gonna support Israel, so I don't think they're gonna vote for Trump next election. Not Trump, but they're gonna vote for a Republican candidate next election that's pro-white, right? I'm assuming. Let's see how it goes.
From the right, but who are not leftists. That's what a lot of people who voted for Trump and who disagree with what they say want to hear. That is the vacuum through which Mr. Fuentes has been able to resuscitate much of his image. Yeah. Let's all remember where Nick Fuentes was before October 7th. He was working on the Kanye campaign, doing screeds about, whatever, black IQ or whatever on his show. Okay, that's where he was. And yes, he was canceled to within an inch of his life. He was off Twitter. Elon unbanned him. There's a perfect circumstance that led to October 7th and the re-rise, let's say, on Twitter. This is what drives me crazy about the whole thing. They act like it came out of a vacuum. It is a creation of the unending cancellation rhetoric from the Zionist right that has now pervaded all of politics for the last 2 years, which has pushed people to the point where any criticism of the state of Israel is conflated with anti-Semitism. The definition itself no longer means almost anything to anyone, and they don't want to hear it anymore. And then finally, this is kind of
like you guys, I wasn't even aware of this, so I'm basically educated with you. I didn't even know about that.
Gets to the whole rhetoric thing. I saw this
thought they were like
Dave
hardcore.
Smith. How
together.
can I be lectured about racial politics and divisive language after watching these people cheer on the deaths of starving children over the last 2? You're gonna lecture me about morality and about race politics when you support an explicitly racially aligned state in the Middle East and you create your whole identity around this? You have no moral authority over me to lecture me about how my country should act in relation to this other. That is the vacuum through which this has all been created. And there's so many, I know so many young people, they're not leftists. And yes, even with Israel, they're not, you know, genocide posters or keffiyeh wearers at protests. They're just disgusted this is being done, both in our name and that we're paying for it, and of the obsession of foreign politicians while they have an inability to succeed financially in this country. That's the entire thing that is about it. So that's the schism. Charlie Kirk was doing his best, by the way, to try to maintain this. And his loss really...
Yeah, because Charlie Kirk wasn't with oh, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Charlie Kirk wasn't rocking with Nick Fuentes. I think they weren't together at all. They had opposite views.
Really what has erupted. You know, I think with this shows how frankly valuable he was to the state of Israel, I think in his ability to try and to square this circle. But this conflict was inevitable because of the situation that they created. And so, I don't know. I can't stand like so many of this Randy Fine. I mean, think about the things Randy Fine said he wants to nuke Gaza.
Yeah.
You're going to lecture me about morality?
He called for them all to be starved.
That's crazy.
Called for them to be starved. And you're going to lecture me about Hitlerism and about racism and to, you know, morality police? It's like, fuck you. You know,
well,
and this is a long way before, because this is what I want to make sure. I'm not saying I'm no fan of Mr. Fuente, who probably thinks I should be denaturalized and deported, and that my interracial marriage is horrible, right? You know, but you know, I can also sociologically understand why so many people would find that type of rhetoric very, very convincing and entertaining. Frankly, who else? I mean, me, a few others who can criticize Trump. There's not very many of us out there who can say it legitimately. And there's a massive appetite for it. Look at Theo, look at Andrew Schultz, look at Tim Dillon, you know, all of these guys who were Trump curious and are now very critical. There's a massive audience for it. And then finally,
that's true. You know, especially now that it's affecting like Trump's rhetoric, it's affecting a lot of other people. That's what he's support. But like I said, the Republican Party is getting a lot of traction right now through the Nick Fuentes side. You know, even people who are, like they say, they're black people are supporting him. And I was just checking other comments on his Rumble, and it's crazy amount of support, even though they're not white. But I think they just resonate with the America First point of view he has. Even though he has said that, you know, he agrees with Hitler, stuff like that. But, you know, he didn't think Hitler was a bad person. But
finally,
crazy.
People are blaming Fuentes Tucker.
It just makes you think, like, where's this country going to, you know?
And others. That is not why kids in MAGA hats at Ole Miss are showing up to TPUSA events asking about Israel. It's not. You can convince yourself all day long that that's the case. You could literally deplatform Fuentes and that he would never have a platform ever again. Those kids would still be showing up there. You have a reality problem in this entire thing. And this is an unsquareable circle right now in the current politics. It just does not, it's not capable, frankly, of being squared with the current Republican.
I forgot the girl was there.
I forgot the girl was there. I think the cat is out of the bag. And in terms of, you know, your assertion that these young guys would still be showing up and asking questions about Israel and whatever. But I also think a lot of those guys are Fuentes.
But like I said, if they platform Fuentes, he had 55,000 viewers the other day. You know, I don't think even if they cancel him, he's gonna get more support just by being canceled. People gonna go look for him. He probably make his own website, make his own, video streaming service, kind of like Trump did with Trump's. Oh, thank you, Fatima. Appreciate you. But the platform, he's just gonna make his own, like Truth. Like when they banned Trump in a lot of places, he just made his own thing. And by this point, I think Nick Fuentes already has enough money to try to do that. But he has a lot of support, and I think Ben Shapiro is losing a lot of support. Actually, losing followers from the looks of it too.
As fans, and they are Grover's, and he is incredibly influential among young Republicans and young Republican men specifically. I think the point that you're making is that effectively Republican elites have lost the moral standing to gatekeep in any way. So even when it comes to a literal Nazi, which Nick Fuentes is, I mean, he is a Holocaust denier. He does love Hitler, like, backing Kanye as he's.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like nowadays, you gotta go really extreme to get support. Like that woke stuff, that's gone. Now it's about the opposite. How hard can you go against your opponents? Like he's saying that he respects Hitler, and he denies the Holocaust. How can he deny history? But people are still supporting him. He's getting a lot of traction in Fuentes. Like I said, he's like white nationalist. He's pro-white. He's pro-America first. But his movement is winning a lot more. That's what I'm saying. The next president, no, not the next president, but the next candidate the Republican Party has, if they win the Civil War, it's going to be a more extreme. Like, you think Trump's extreme right now, it'd probably be 10 times worse if they win the Republican Civil War. Ben Shapiro, though, he's so pro Israel that that's why he's losing support. Because everybody who follows Ben Shapiro is thinking, you know what, this guy, he's doing it for the benefit of Israel. He's Republican, but he's not America first. But if Ben Shapiro will maybe switch into like pro-America first and second Israel, then he probably regain a lot of his support back. But he's losing a lot of, especially from his last video. He made like a compilation of all Nick Fuentes points, and actually instead of hurting Nick Fuentes, he got a lot of support because it was like his best clips, So I don't know, it's crazy.
I love Hitler, all that, right? He is those things. And yet, because number one, they have the elites of the party have supported an outright genocide that's happening in our timelines. Number two, because they've tried to conflate any criticism whatsoever of our foreign policy vis-a-vis Israel as anti-Semitism. They have lost any moral standing to gatekeep and say this is the bounds of acceptable discourse within the Republican Party. I think that's a problem because I actually do think that you should keep Nazis out of your coalition. I actually do think that that should be a line that you can draw. And obviously, like, they have completely failed through their abuse of the term anti-Semitism to maintain any sort of moral legitimacy, and not just through the use of the term, but also through their own actions. I mean, you point to Randy Fine, you can look at what this administration is doing. You have lost any ability to tell people this is where the line is and this is what is acceptable. And I think it's a real problem because, that Tucker Fuentes interview, first of all, Tucker, before he interviewed Nick, was going very hard in the paint, saying he's a gay loser who lives in his mom's basement.
Yeah, I think Tucker too. I saw that interview. He folded. He folded. You know what I hate? Like they talk so much bad about each other, but when they're in person, they fold. So I'm actually kind of excited because Nick Fuentes challenged Ben Shapiro to a debate. I wonder if they're gonna do that. That'd be like really interesting.
Then when they're face to face, very patty cakes. I would just explain to me in your own words, not bringing up any of the specific things that he said for him to have to grapple with. And Fuentes realizes he's got this opening because guess what? If your narrative of the world is like the Jews are the problem for everything, the fact that the state of Israel and their defenders have done their damnedest to conflate every Jew in the world with their genocidal actions is doing half of the propaganda battle for Nick Fuentes. They are doing that. So then he can say, I agree that Israel is equivalent to the Jews, and just look at what they're doing and look at how our politicians are acting. So through our complicity in this genocide and through our pushing.
You know what I think is crazy too? Like after Israel defeated Hamas, right? In a way. Now, I feel like now they need a new enemy. So now they're going against the Jews. You get it? Like it's always something. It's always something. Like, but even though how many people they Israel, you know, I'm pro-Israel, you know. I feel like October 7th, they, you know, Hamas came and attacked Israel, and then they went hide behind their population and cry uncle, you know. But they went over and started the massacring all the Israelis. And I saw the videos. Everybody saw those videos. You know, Israel had a right to defend themselves. They did. You know, you can't just go like what Hamas did was despicable. They were flying like little gliders and all that, and people at the festival. Like those people didn't deserve to die. And then Hamas crossed the border back and cries uncle when Israel goes there and defend themselves. Of course, if somebody attacks you, you gotta go and destroy the enemy. So,
of the propaganda that yes, every Jew.
And that's what I'm saying. Like now that the Israel-Hamas war is kind of over, now they focus on the Jews now in a way. And then after that, you know, it's just like a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope.
Has to be conflated with the horrors that are being done in their name. That also helped to solidify the opening for Nick Fuentes. And here's the other dynamic in politics. Like Tucker will, you know, Tucker, especially when he was on Fox, I don't know how much he does it now, but especially when he was on Fox, he talked all about the great replacement theory, saying replacement, blah, 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 blah. He does enough to give himself plausible deniability, because the grander part of that conspiracy is that it is Jews leading the great replacement theory to replace whites.
He did not say
no,
that.
that's Sagar, let me finish my point. Right. He doesn't say that part, right? He uses, you know, it keeps it on the like, oh, it's a political project of the elites. Maybe he says like the global elites, but he maintains this plausible deniability. Guess what? The person who actually comes in and says the freaking thing, and that's Nick Fuentes, who says it's the Jews who are coming in to replace the white people. The person who actually says the thing out loud, they are going to be the ones who win that rhetorical debate. This is what Trump seized on in, you know, 2015, 2016 with his rise. The things that Fox News would dog whistle and hint at, he would come out and say. So that's the dynamic that's going on right now with Tucker and Fuentes and Candace. And that's why, you know, I think Hanania, his assertion that like this is the direction of the Republican Party, I think he's right. Because you think Mark Levin's going to be able to pull this back?
Well,
you feel like who's going to be the person that's going to say, no, this is too far. We don't want to be an actual Nazi party.
Let's talk about why I think that Hanania is right in a sense. I think what he's right in a sense is that the Republican Party establishment doesn't have legitimacy for a significant portion of young people.
Yeah.
Not everyone are a bunch of leftists, okay? Many of us have like I mean, you know, even the framing, frankly, about...
And I heard too, like, a lot of the women are going left, and most of the men are going right. From Generation Z, you know. That's a big split, and there's more women than men. You know,
immigration that you just gave, like there is a legitimate case to be made about immigration, apportionment, and the census. That's not a grand Jewish conspiracy. It's reality in terms of the way that the demographic change of our population happened under the Biden administration. We've had endless arguments about that, but there's a non-racial case, which I believe most people who voted for Trump on immigration actually do believe whenever they wanted control of our border, and particularly to want to know that and think that that's an insane system.
And that's why I say Biden messed up by letting all the Venezuelans in. Because now everybody feels like, you know, they took advantage of the system, and then now all the immigrants are paying for it.
Now, however, what has happened is that under the Trump administration, with their flagrant, basically conflation of Jewish identity with the state of Israel, which, by the way, Trump says himself all the time. He'll be like, oh, these Jews don't even support me, even though I'm so pro-Israel.
Pro-Israel.
It's like, bro, what? You know, so-
Maybe there's more to that.
but also, the Israel supporters do it themselves. John Podhoretz, who is from the Nepo Baby commentary writer, literally tweeted that Trump can say Shylock all he wants because he bombed Iran. So Trump can say the word Shylock, which according to him is
Yeah, that's the most pro-Israel thing he's ever done. Bomb Iran.
a anti-Jewish slur because he did a foreign policy action which is beneficial to the state of Israel. So you're the ones who created this reality. So to the extent then that the whole Republican Party is going in this direction, again, why is that? Because young people, particularly a lot of young men, are deeply angry at the state of the country. They feel as if they cannot advance. The reason that they cannot advance is because of a bipartisan establishment elite. They also do not feel that they will ever be able to make enough money to support themselves and get married, even though they want to. A lot of these guys desperately want to get married. Many of them, by the way, let's even look at the entire phenomenon of spending all your time online getting into racial politics. That is loser behavior, and it is downstream of gaming, pornogaphy, marijuana, spending all your time by yourself. Why do you think I rage against all this stuff? Because it creates these maladjusted, so antisocial freaks who, by the way, in all of society, when you have underemployed, angry young men, what direction?
I feel like everybody's just not, everybody wants to be by themselves now. Nobody's like together,
Direction does politics go? This is not to excuse it. This is simply to show you where things are headed. This is why I rail against degenerate libertine society, because I understand the consequences of it, and we've seen it dramatically throughout history. And then finally, to like the conservative point about why did Kevin Roberts, why is TPUSA having these issues?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a bottom-up phenomenon. I can't tell you, from my criticism of the state of Israel and more, I get more private support than probably on any other issue. I agree with you. But they can't say it because their jobs depend on it. That's not an anti-Jewish conspiracy. That's reality, is that even if you are an econ staffer at a conservative think tank, if you have a dissident view of Israel, you're dead, okay? You're not getting a job. You're not going to get a job in the Trump administration. You're never going to work again in this town. That's a reality.
That's a good point of view. I didn't even realize it like that. If you're not pro-Israel, you get canceled. See, that's what I'm saying. Like there's always like different things that change, but it's still the same thing. If you don't agree with me, cancel. Whether it's the Jewish thing, whether it was when the Democrats were in charge, with the they them stuff, there's always something. It's always getting canceled. Kind of annoying. You can't have your own opinion,
They created. That's not an anti-Semitic point. That's just simply, again, a statement of fact. And that is slowly bubbling up. And then let's take Tucker on top of all of this. Tucker, who is the most, in my opinion, influential. I mean, look, actually just go look at the download charts. #1 conservative podcast in the entire country. Far outpaces everyone else. In the conversation with Fuentes, I personally would have liked to see more critical. I'll say it. And Tucker is a great friend, and I support him. I liked being on his show, and I hope to be back on again. I wish he had been a little bit more critical of him in terms of, because I know he can do it. Look at the Ted Cruz stuff, right? He's a master interviewer.
Phenomenally
if
talented
he wants
person.
to be. The thing that comes down to it is that the friend-enemy distinction is becoming much more difficult because you have to also consider the way that they have tried to destroy his own life. They literally, with Tucker, I mean, there's recently this Daily Mail piece where they said Tucker Carlson, quote, needs to be neutralized, okay? That's the type of rhetoric that is now coming from the more Zionist right wing. They're calling him Hitler Youth. They're saying, like, the most dangerous anti-Semite in the country. Genuinely, like an all-out campaign to destroy his business, to destroy his personal life, to destroy anybody who's associated with him. That mentally, I'm saying, because I suffer from this too. For me, man, it is like whenever they want me to cancel somebody else, especially for the whole Israel thing, I have a lot of difficulty with it. I really do, because of the level of vitriol, that I have gotten. I can't even criticize the Barry Weiss deal without being bombarded with "you're a Jew hater." right? As if I care that Barry Weiss is Jewish, that it has anything to do with it. No, it's only about Israel. I don't care about any of that. And so I'm saying from my own personal experience, the level of personal vitriol that you get as somebody who is in any way, more on the right-wing end of the spectrum, critical. This was the niche that they were able to fill because of the reality that they created. And then for many people who are not racist, anti-Semitic, or any conspiracy
of Republicans who are very Israel supportive. If you are over the age of, let's say, 40 in the Republican Party, you still have that very, they're our ally, sort of Cold War mentality. We're with them no matter what. You buy the propaganda. You probably haven't really thought about it all that much, right? It just, yes.
And it is, you can't.
Hamas, everything that is negative about Israel is Hamas, etc. Right. And if you're going to try to draw the line.
Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands.
Is there anything else?
Golda Meir, David Ben-Gurion.
Ben Shapiro said, I don't give a damn about the browning of America. What do you think that looks like? The browning of America. That means there's going to be no more white people.
I don't get it why he's so pro-white when I'm Mexican.
So everything you love about America, Tom Cruise and Frank Sinatra and George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, those are all white people. Walt Whitman and Mark Twain. These are white people. And in a century, there's not going to be any more. And they're cheering it on. Ben Shapiro says, I don't give a damn about the browning of America. You want to know why? Because when America falls, he's going to go home to Israel. He's got a golden parachute. The IDF is going to send a helicopter to Surfside like they did when that condo collapsed. They're going to pick him up and they're going to bring him home to Israel. Now, you have a community of Somalians in Minneapolis. They're concentrated. It's a fucking ethno-state. They're all in one neighborhood. It's homogeneous Somalian. They're taking over the city council. They want to run for mayor. They elect a representative, and she goes before them and in their native tongue says, I represent Somalia.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that. If she's a state senator, she shouldn't be like, I represent Somalia. The way I wouldn't agree Mexican doing that, You gotta represent for the majority of your population. But I also don't agree with what Nick Fuentes is saying that, pro white only, because America is based on diversity.
Yeah, as long as I'm in Congress, Somalia will never be defeated. That's perfectly acceptable. And that's perfectly acceptable, and we have nothing to say about that. A Jew can get up and say, we need to fight for Israel, and the Jews need to stand up for themselves. But if a white person gets up and says, hey, we fucking built this country, whites founded this country, we're sticking up for whites in America. Oh, you're a white supremacist now. You're so full of hatred. You're a wicked person and you deserve to die. You're a Nazi, so people should kill you.
Thanks, Beth, for the follow.
And people should punch you, and you're the scum of the earth. Really?
Yeah, that's a bit hypocritical, and it's probably
That's kind of crazy because by her saying that she represents Somalia, I think what Nick Fuentes is saying, about I represent the white people. So there's a kind of valid point to that. It's kind of like the activist saying, let's say in the immigration rates, there's people saying, I support the Hispanic community. It's kind of like what Nick's saying. So I kind of see his point of view too. He's saying that, I represent white people in a way,
first prime supremacist state. That's what they're meaning. And that then.
How much does Chuck Schumer have to say about the Jewish supremacy in Israel? Is Israel a super diverse country, or are they ethnically cleansing it? Is Israel a super liberal country, or are they committing a genocide? Do they have a fascist leader taking over the judiciary? What has he got to say about that? This is what I'm talking about. Consider the source. Tune these people out. These people fucking hate you.
I just think that, you know, instead of saying whites only, or, you know, like he was saying that Somalis are like Ian Omar saying that I represent Somalia. No, you gotta represent America. You know, I feel like everybody's just making their own groups now. And especially now with the Republican Party, you know, we got Ben Shapiro representing Israel interests and all that, even though he's a Republican and he is America first if it benefits the state of Israel in a way. But then there's people with Nick Fuentes that resonate with him because he's America first. But even though he's saying that, you know, I represent the white culture, the white votes and all that stuff. So I can see both points kind of the same, right? But it shouldn't be like I represent white people. No, it should be represent the whole of America together. Not just groups. I think that's the thing about America for the last couple of years. Everybody's segregated into different groups, you know. They got like the Ben Shapiro side, pro-Israel. Then we got the Nick Fuentes, you know, pro-white. And then you had the Democratic Party, you know, with the alphabet. Because so many letters for me to pronounce. You know, everybody's just like in different groups fighting in between each other, you know. But it's hard. It's hard. Because even though I don't agree with Nick Fuentes, what he's saying, I kind of see it. It's like, well, since everybody's grouping together into different groups, you know, I'm pro-white. And, you know, he's not sorry about that in a way. But that's because, you know, like Ian Omar, like I said, she's like, she went to there was a video where she was like, I represent the whole Somalian, the Somalian community. If she could say that, he could say I'm pro-white. You know, it's only fair. Ben Shapiro, he's Republican, he's pro-Israel. You know, everybody's pro something nowadays. You know, the Democrats are pro-immigration, it's just sad. There's no unity in the country no more. You know? And I feel like after, I think everything messed up from the cancellation point of view. Like, when was that? 2016, all that? When you couldn't say nothing about, you know, like gay stuff and all that. You know, you have to accept, you know, they, them, and all that stuff. It made like a precedent. You know, like they started that in a way, and now the Republican Party are doing the same thing. You know, so I don't know, man. Like it's scary times because it's just the bar is getting more and more race will get more extreme in a way. But you know, it's crazy if the Republican Party in the Civil War, you know, Nick Fuentes versus Ben Shapiro. If the Nick Fuentes side, even though Nick Fuentes is getting a lot of support, like the other day he had 55,000 active viewers. If Nick Fuentes wins this Civil War with the Republicans, the next Republican candidate has to be as extreme as what his views. But I also think that Trump messed up, you know, all this stuff with the immigration stuff, because now he said he was going to go, you know, against undocumented people, but now he's going against green card people, and now he's going against. He just said he's going to try to denaturalize 200 people a month. So now all that fear and all those people that put him in power, because he needed extra boost from the Hispanic community. The reason Trump won the presidential election was because of the Hispanic community and the black, you know, and the black people voting for him. But now he's losing all the support because there's people that are so, like they said, Somalis, right? He's going against the Somalis. Even though I do agree, if they did $1 billion fraud, go get them. But you know, the propaganda thing is hitting where now it feels like he's going against all black people. When the Republican Party cut down the food stamps, a lot of the minorities got affected, but also people from Alabama got affected. Yeah, you know, I also think so too, Real Rain. I also think so too, because Ben Shapiro's been losing a lot of followers. He's been losing a lot of followers. And Nick Fuentes, like I said, I saw one of his things. He had 55,000 active viewers. Even they tried to deplatform him, he's just gonna make his own thing like Trump, like True Social. He's gonna make his own his own video streaming site, and then that he supports is certified already. You know, it's just crazy. Like, but as I'm saying, the next candidate that he's gonna go, that the Republican Party's gonna choose, is he may have won the war already. He's gonna be as extreme as his views. You know, denouncing the Holocaust, but that's still like history. Like the Holocaust did happen. So I don't know. I feel like every year has been, ever since 2016 with the whole with the alphabet and the alphabet people, LG whatever, started like going so hard with gender neutral bathrooms and all that. That just set a precedent to what's happening now. You know, that opened the door, the Pandora box, in a way. And now, like, now we're where we at. The more extremists you get, the more people follow you. You know, that's how it is. But like I said, I think Trump messed up. But when he went against illegal immigrants, everyone was cool with it. You know, everyone was cool with it. But now that he's going with permanent residents, and all those people have families, and those families are gonna remember this. And like I'm saying, Alabama has a low poverty level. A lot of people live on food stamps and public services, and they're more majority white. Those people are getting affected when the government shut down, and then they saw the Republican Party not vouching for them. They're gonna remember that for the next elections. You know, once you start affecting people's pockets, they're gonna remember that. And like I said, Miami just chose the first mayor in 30 years, Democrat. You know, people are gonna remember that, and I feel like that's what Trump messed up. I think he was still, the Republican Party will still have a lot of support, you know, with Trump if he just focused on the illegal immigration part of the side where he's just picking up illegals. But now that he's going against legal immigration, you know, and I do agree with a lot of Somalis, you know, with that if he's gonna go against the Somali community, that they're fraud. I agree with that, because they were saying that a lot of them married their cousins and their sisters, like Ian Omar, supposedly, allegedly, that she did all that. And I also agree that you may have to go hard against some people in the Somali community that they fraud the government. Like I saw one report that they were saying that they were charging Medicaid $30,000 and they didn't have patients. You know, like that's wild. You know, if they're doing that type of fraud, yeah, go after them, get them out of here. You know, because that's everybody's tax dollars. You know, I pay a lot of taxes too. You know, and that pisses me off too. What pissed me off too, like I said, was Biden messed up too. Biden messed up by opening the borders, right? With the Venezuelans, especially the Venezuelans. They would go up to Texas or whatever. They would claim asylum. Then they would go and get shipped, because Texas didn't want them. They shipped in central cities. Then they would get put in hotels, live comfortably for a year, get food stamps and all that. People got tired. I got tired of that. Just seeing videos when they were like, this one Venezuelan guy, he was like, ha, I'm living for a whole year, government free. Thank you for your tax dollars. Keep working while I'm enjoying myself. Like, I got pissed at that, because I work every day. I hardly ever take vacations, you know? So I got pissed at that. But because that happened, now everybody got mad and started, you know, they started going against the whole like Hispanic community and all that, thinking everybody's illegal. And I always said there's two types of illegal. The Venezuelans, even though they were illegally, they still were in process of asylum. So technically, they were not illegal because they had TPS, temporary protected status. That's why when they were saying that the 9 million Social Security numbers that got assigned, they were for people claiming asylum, not for illegals. So it's a big difference. And I didn't like how they were putting all of them together. Illegals that come here illegally, like let's say Mexicans, right? They come with a debt in their back because they can't claim asylum most of the time. So they got across the border, they already got $10,000 to $15,000 of debt. So once they start here, they start working. They can't leech off the system. The Venezuelans were leeching off the system. You know, they were you know, like in Chicago, you drive down the street and you see like crazy camps outside the police stations. You know, people got fed up with that, and then the crime did rise up when they were here. So I see it from everybody's point of view. Like I said, I'm not all left, I'm not all right, but I can see everybody's points of view. The Tea Party morphed into MAGA and now has evolved into America First. And we saw the numbers that of the 100 countries in the world and receive aid and these things. That needs to be addressed. That does need to be addressed. That needs to be addressed. Because like I said, the other day I was watching the Speak the Truth podcast. And he's really with America First type of thing, and he's a veteran, and I respect him and everything. He was saying that he had a problem the other day where he had to call, the VA. The VA can't hang up on him because there's not enough funds for it. So I'm saying a lot of money of that could go to the veterans. Instead of wasting it, well, I do agree. Like I said, I do agree with the going against getting the people who are committing felonies and all that, and the people who are witching up the system. But I also agree that that's an exaggerated amount of money going into ICE and all that stuff, where that could go to veterans. The veterans, how can I say it for you to safety? They unalive each other every day. They're going through their own personal wars. I feel like we gotta help them. And yeah, I do agree. Go against people that have committed crazy crimes and all that stuff, and people who are defrauding the system. Yeah, I do agree with that. But I think this is overkill in a way, and that's gonna help. That's not helping the Republican Party. Because now everybody has a member of a family member that's getting affected by this, whether it's through food stamps. Right now, like the insurance policies, you think people are gonna forget how their premiums are gonna go up from $47? And I saw this video where the lady's like, my premium right now is $47. It's gonna go to $364 for Obamacare. Yeah, Obamacare is not perfect, but instead of Republicans defunding it, they should put something, during the meantime. Instead of going recess, they're gone till January 5th or whatever it is. A lot of people are gonna remember this, and that I don't think the Republicans are gonna win the next, especially next year with 33 Senate seats. They're not gonna win that because everybody is gonna remember, oh, I lost insurance, or one of my loved ones that was, in process, because now they're catching people in process of, in green card interviews. They're doing it the right way. And they're still grabbing them and putting them in nice detention centers. People are gonna remember this. Everybody has a family member that's an American family member, and they gotta remember this. And then the next thing is it's gonna be a blue wave, I feel. But also, it's not gonna help the Republican Party if people like Nick Fuentes, they push a candidate that's pro-white and everything. People can remember that too. So I don't know. I think the Republican Party just shot themselves in the foot. Yeah, there is a civil war going on with the Republican Party, but it's not helping them. It's not helping them segregating themselves. Because like I said, Trump wouldn't have won if he didn't get the Hispanic votes, if he didn't get the black votes. He says it so much. Well, I want all the flip states. What's in the flip states though? The minorities. He couldn't have won it alone. Now that he's affecting everybody, that in one way or another, whether it's food stamps, whether it's one of their loved ones doing the right way and getting handcuffed by ICE and all that stuff, they just shot themselves in the foot. And it's just I don't know. That's how I feel, and I feel like there should be some balance. I'm not all left, I'm not all right. I'm in the middle. There should be a candidate that does everything good. Let's say he secures the borders, gets everybody who's had a felony, who's had any sort of outrageous crime out of here. The people that are left over here, they gotta get vetted and see how long they've been here and how the country's benefited from them in a way, right? Whether they've paid their taxes every year, even though they're not getting money back. I feel like that should be something that should be looked upon. There's different ways. Instead of wasting so much money, even a huge, humongous budget with ICE, and they're blowing through that money, like Christie, she blew through most of the budget, buying new cars and everything, fleets and all that. I feel like that money could have been better spent somewhere else. You don't need that much budget to go find illegals, especially, if they have crimes. But if you picking up everybody and shipping them out like this, like that, it's kind of productive because in a way, the virus they've been paying taxes 30 years. They have been contributing members of society. They have adjusted to the American way of life. That's also another thing that needs to be done. People need to adjust to the American way of life. You know, like what happened in Dearborn. What's happening in Dearborn? You know, them saying prayers at 3 a.m, 5 a.m. I don't agree with that either. You know, you can't change American values. If you say you come to this country, you gotta adjust to the American way of life. You know, yeah. Imagine we're Christians and we go to a Muslim country and we start saying prayers like that. We'll probably get killed. You know, you gotta adjust to the way of life. You know, and it's not about freedom of religion. There's freedom of religion, but do it at your own pace, at your own, you know, worship sites. Don't affect everybody else's way of life. That's what I feel. But yeah, sorry I went on a rant in this video.
Okay. Chuck Schumer, do you think he wants America to stay white? No. And that would be better for us. He doesn't want what's best for us. If America is diverse and tolerant and multiracial, then Jews feel safer.
Yeah, they also, you know, many of them were also, like the neoconservatives, they were Trotskyites, but not just the neoconservatives. Many of them were just socialists or Marxists or communists because they thought that they could avoid anti-Semitism if the government in the country they lived in was, you know, communist, Marxist, socialist, a government in which the government seizes control of all forms of enterprise and production and business, and they promise to divide and distribute and allot everybody's essential. Resolution 70 were ever portrayed.
That's this guy, but I want to see that.
Zionist president is. This transcends Democrats.
All different kinds of people, well, they blend in. They're just like every other group that's here. It's better for them. And shame is their weapon. Guilt is their weapon. Everybody else is proud. We're ashamed. I'm black and proud. I'm Jewish and proud.
That's what I'm saying. He does have a point. If you're saying I'm Mexican and proud, he could say I'm white and proud. You know, and I guess I can see this point of view, but there shouldn't be a stigmata. Is stigmata? Is that the right word? Well, there shouldn't be a repercussion of him saying he's white and proud. Yeah. Hey, but Nick, don't forget you're 25% Mexican though.
I'm Mexican and proud. I'm Asian and proud.
Oh, see?
But you're white and you need to be ashamed. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm beautiful. We invented everything. We're the greatest. Good for you. Attaboy. But you're white. You're evil. You're a piece of shit. And that is being weaponized against us so that we accept this. But that,
I do agree with that because every time you talk, like white people talk, they stutter when they say, "Oh, a black person." You know, they can't really say black and stuff. I can see that point of view. Like I said, man, I see it from both sides. Like, but I don't agree when it's really extreme though. You know,
that's not going to work anymore because things are materially getting worse for white people. So I don't feel guilty when I'm losing, actually. Why would I feel bad? Why would I feel guilty when you hate me? You're taking things from me. You're making my life worse. You're making society worse. You're destroying my heritage, my civilization, what it means to be me. And I'm going to let you make me feel bad about myself? Why would I do that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's no, we don't even, yeah, Shiite, Syria, no, just Lebanon, Israel, hating us, and we're writing
grateful. But the thing is, they're never going to be grateful. They have to be fought. They have to actually be put in their place. I saw Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr said he's going to be on his knees begging the Jews. Roseanne Barr, you need to be put in your fucking place. Okay? Country. This is a Christian country. Ben Shapiro said.
Okay, let's see what Ben Shapiro.
Glazed by Tucker Carlson, rather famously.
Now let's see Ben Shapiro's side
has now announced that he is going to be launching an actual PAC, the America First Foundation. And apparently it is going to be supported by a variety of supposedly quote unquote America First figures. I say America First figures because, again, that phrase is semantically overloaded. Every American should believe that America comes first when it comes to our policy because duh. But what they mean by America First is not that. What they mean by America First is essentially a totally isolationist foreign policy, a complete overthrow of the idea of creedal Americanism, the idea that the Declaration of Independence actually defines what it means to be an American or the Constitution. And instead, it ought to be whatever Fuentes' peculiar definition of heritage represents. Apparently, according to the Free Press, the America First Foundation's latest tax filing lists Fuentes as its president, along with 2 board members. One is Jonathan Miller, a former White House correspondent for Blaze TV, who posted the day after last July's assassination attempt on President Trump. I'm not uniting with anyone except Christ and my brothers. I know stand with Trump, F the left, F the GOP, F the Secret Service, F the Jews, F democracy. God is with us.
Nah, that's crazy.
And also a white nationalist named Vincent James Fox, who has said he is part of the Christian Taliban. Now, why do I point this out? Because the left is cheering the stupidity of Republicans for doing this stuff.
Yeah, well, they're celebrating in a way because, you know, they're losing support with each other. And then, as I said, even though Nick Fuentes is winning this civil war, if there was a candidate next election, he has to be as extreme as Nick Fuentes. He's gonna lose.
They are loving every moment of this. Every single moment of this. Now, Fuentes' wishes to bill, by the way, cleans out the actual principles of conservatism. Like, cleans it out. Legitimately, the only thing that you can say that Fuentes is conservative on in any sort of traditional sense is that he is anti-mass migration. That's pretty much it. On economics, he is not. And on social policy, by the way, he really is not. But to side with this, or to glaze it, or to side with those who glaze it, because, oh no, you might alienate the nuttier and idiotic parts of your coalition. Like, that's your politics? Really?
Another one. I haven't been in Rumble in a long time.
People seem to get more upset by what people say these days than what
Will
people
Shapiro.
do. I don't understand that. I find a lot of stuff Nick Fuentes says to be disgusting, but in my opinion,
The fact that Shapiro mad an American First PAC shows who really is. Yeah, well, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's too pro-Israel, you know, and that's why he's losing support. Like, he's too pro-Israel, you know. Like I said, if there was a balance where he's like America first in a way, and then, you know, and then Israel comes second or whatever, then I don't think he would support. But now that Nick Fuentes is pro-America first, pro-white first, and all this, he's getting a lot of, you know, support from everybody that feels oppressed about it. You know, who feels like we should focus, instead of sending thousands of dollars of aid to Israel in a way, even though they did kind of do us a favor by destroying Hamas, right? And then destroying Hezbollah, you know, because those, you know, those guys were a cancer, you know. But, you know, we can't be isolated. Oh, she did? Megan. I saw that on, see that, I think it was a YouTube video about that. I saw that here somewhere. Oh, right here.
Gave her a show and then kicked her to who? Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro milked her for all he could, and he figured, you know, not too long that
I just saw that.
her
I just watched the video.
appetite was insatiable, right? He gave her a billboard. Hey, look, we got, you know, Kundus Owens. Gave her a show, let her do documentary. All that at the, you know, at the Jewish payroll. You have to understand, Carlson and Ben Shapiro. Now, Megyn Kelly is very much pro-Tucker Carlson, pro-Nick Fuentes, pro-white nationalism and all of that. Now, she's very discreet, okay? Because once again, she's a member of the League of Shadows. She's a member, elite member of the lineage of evil, okay? And Megyn Kelly, how she goes about it, she'll never say, oh yeah, I'm for what they're saying.
Didn't she say that they're not friends no more?
I'm for this. They always have a, you know, a weasel way to go about it, to circumvent any type of actual answer. That's how they go about it. They'll never give you a direct answer. They go, the scenic route. So one of the tells she gives as to her being pro Nick Fuentes is her bringing a platform. And she goes on to say, well, I don't believe in deplatforming. Absolutely not. I think that's that's not what we do, okay?
The main criticism, as I understand it, has been, well, yes, platforming. They say that. I don't accept platforming as a valid objection.
Then she goes on to talk about, because Tucker had talked about how he had interviewed all these horrible people, and there wasn't this much, rah over the people he'd interviewed. And she brings that up. She's like, well, you know what? Nick Fuentes hasn't eaten anybody, okay?
Honestly, but as far as I know, Nick Fuentes hasn't eaten anyone. Jeffrey Dahmer ate people, and he was platformed by Diane Sawyer.
Given very soft defense to Nick Fuentes, nothing hard, okay? You give hard, you get nailed. But if you can play that middle game, that shade of gray, not really saying Nick Fuentes is a horrible person, I denounce Nick Fuentes, but also
what's it called,
not
though?
saying, hey, he's the greatest person
what's
ever,
it called?
What are we doing? We should all agree with him. That soft in the middle where, it can be easily, misinterpreted, mischaracterized. That's where these demons like to play. So she tries to play that game and it gets even worse. I mean, under a magnifying glass where the jig is up when she comes across Ben Shapiro, because
it should be. Is it on this one? Was it a day ago?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with control that you are a spectator. You are paid.
That's right, Jack. And
things that's come up in the wake of all
lockstep, which was fine for me because I did. But the party started to turn after 10/7. Uniform support and sympathy for Israel in 10/7. But as the war went on 2 years later, people were starting to turn on them. It felt like too much. And then we were under pressure to get involved. We had the Iran bombing and so on. And the pressure started to mount on those of us who were pro-Israel to not allow the doubters their say, to try to censor them or disagree with them publicly or call them out. And neither Charlie nor I felt like that was what we wanted to do at all, nor was it our job. We're not the policemen of the conservative movement. I'm not. He wasn't. Ben Shapiro isn't either.
Well, snap. Megan, shots fired. Shots fired.
You mentioned him, and your name came up on this stage last night in regards to pretty much all of this. Would you like the opportunity to respond?
Well, I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement.
Oh, I think this is the clip you were talking about.
Blindness about his position in it. It reminded me a little of when the girl who was the head of our middle school chorus told me she was going to take all my friends away from me. Chorus? A head cheerleader maybe, but like, so I resent the whole thing. I object to the whole thing. Ben and I, he had the nerve to call me a friend right before he called me a despicable coward for not calling out the people he once called out. So he both wants to parent me and be my child. He wants to tell me what I have to do and who I have to say what to. And then when I don't, he and some of his friends want to act like utter victims because I won't do what they say. They need me. I have to be their daddy and step in to protect them. And I am not their daddy. And I resent that he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when. Thank you.
I think that's the clip you're talking about. Couldn't get the link, bro. Real Rain, I couldn't get the link. But is this the one you were talking about? Because this is the one I saw. This is the one I saw where she.
So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel. And I helped make him a star. And
You know what the short's called, Real Rain? I'll look it up through the name.
I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot. And so I tried to do something nice for him by giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe. And thank you. And when it was over, we hugged, said goodbye, and then we had a nice text exchange a couple days later saying our friendship was important to us. And the next thing I saw was him attacking me on stage last night as a coward. So that's not friendship, and I think that's fine with me.
I think by Ben losing support, I think by Ben losing support from her, that's a dub. That he's you know, he probably basically killed himself
With friends like that.
There was also some response where it seemed like that call was being co-signed by the new head of CBS.
That's kind of ungrateful, right? Like she takes him on tour. Oh yeah, that's what we just played. Yeah, that's crazy. Like it's crazy how she takes him on tour and all that, and then he says that's kind of like snakish. And there's Republican I'm saying the Civil War is crazy.
News Barry Weiss, and I wanted to know if you wanted to respond to that as well.
So it's a similar situation with Barry. None of this is about them calling me out for anything I've said or haven't said, or it's certainly not about Erica Kirk, as Ben tried to make it sound last night. It's about Israel.
Do you know what was the clip called where Ben says that about her?
Those two are very pro-ardent Israel activists, which is fine, but they don't get to dictate how the rest of us feel about Israel or what we do with respect to our friends and our friends' opinions.
That's what I'm saying. Ben is putting Israel way too important. And I think everybody also is tired of getting canceled if you're not pro-Israel, you know? If you're not. So, I don't know, man.
On Israel.
But I think Nick Fuentes is winning this war.
And I'll tell you, Barry Weiss wants to couch herself as Erica's protector, Erica's defender. She's retweeting the Ben speech saying anybody who doesn't call out conspiracy theorists is a coward. Erica Kirk barely knows Barry Weiss. Barry doesn't know anything about Erica. Barry Weiss has never been to a Turning Point event. Do you guys remember her here? Standing up for what we believe in when Charlie was alive? I don't remember her standing up for our principles. I don't remember her defending Charlie the many times he was called a racist or an anti-Semite. I really don't remember that at all. What I do remember is she had Erica Kirk come on one town hall in which Barry Weiss tried to
What did Ben did actually? What Ben did actually put an next time? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like she said, they were just talking and hugging with each other at the tour. She was kind of like off about him, but she was still supporting him. But once he said that, she took it personally. She's like, you know what? F you. I'm going with Nick's side. And you know how many followers she's gonna take over there to that side? You know, on the Nick Fuentes side?
At her new network, CBS, pro tip Barry.
Yeah, bro,
that's no way
crazy
to win friends at your new organization, to try to steal all the hosting abilities of the on-air talent. So good luck with that. And what she did when she had Erica there was to have the nerve.
I don't know. I feel like there's no true friendships. Like media, like celebrities and all that. There's no true friendships. Like they're good with each other until they stop benefiting in a way. And once maybe Ben thought that she was going so hard supporting him, so he attacked her, and that backfired a lot. That backfired a lot.
The man who asked the final question of Charlie right before he got shot,
Hunter Kozak,
to put Erica in the position of having to defend whether Trump.
Also, Cadence, she's losing a lot of support too with her conspiracy theories and all that about, how the Jewish people killed Charlie Kirk and all that. I feel like she lost a lot of support out of that too. The people look at them like the crazy side of the Republican Party in a way.
Uses hateful rhetoric. The nerve.
I'll just say I didn't appreciate when I saw that happened, and I don't think that ever should have happened. I don't think that question should have been asked. And I noticed that when Hunter Kozak did that, he immediately went to try to get Erica to denounce Trump, denounce his rhetoric. This is a man who was standing in front of Charlie, in front of her husband when he died. And he never once even said to her the basic human decency of saying, I'm sorry for your loss.
He was sick. And that was a very wise move, because trust me, I've done town halls. You know who the questioners are, and you know what the questions are in advance in that setting. So she knew it was coming, and she thought it was appropriate to have Charlie's widow answer for Trump's violent rhetoric. I'm sorry, that's disrespectful, and I will not be taking any lessons from Barry Weiss in how to treat Erica or anyone else.
That's crazy. I don't know, man.
Since we're spilling all...
Where do you think this is going? Real Rain, where do you think this is going? Like what's the future for the Republican Party? Because since they're all beefing with each other, I don't know. I feel like even though Nick is winning, he's too extreme in a way, and I don't think that he may take over the Republican movement, but it's not going to help them with the elections. You know, not everybody thinks that pro-white everything there only. I feel like there should be a balance, you know. There should be a balance between, like I said, I wish there was that candidate that was an all left, all right, you know, like right in the middle. Like, you know, focus on the issues here. I don't know, but is that impossible? That probably is impossible. Right?
Tonight.
Tea, I did not want spilled, for the record. I kept my powder dry until I was attacked
I could interview you, so I'm asking all the questions here. We're turning the tables on Megyn Kelly for once. So, Megyn, you mentioned something on your show recently that I know a lot of people have been chatting about. There's been a lot of chatter about this. The sit-down, the peace summit heard around the world between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. And you mentioned that you played a role in brokering this. Tell us the story, if you would.
Well, Erica has asked me to tell the story and is fine with me telling the story, so I will. Otherwise, I would not have gotten into the details. But so from the beginning of Candace's programming on this, I've been in touch with Turning Point, and I know you have too. We've all talked about it behind the scenes. But I've had long conversations with everybody at the highest levels on how to handle this. And I think everybody was confused about what the next
I feel like Candace was really tweaking.
Right move was, because it was so extraordinary. And I'm not going to get into the substance of those discussions, but suffice it to say that I think everyone felt the best course initially was to try to just rise above it and not respond in a tit-for-tat manner. And as it went on, it started to get more and more problematic for Turning Point, for Erica, and so on. And Erica called me and said, I want to do a sit-down with Candace, and I want you to moderate it. And
was that streamed?
What? Say what?
I agree with that.
I said, you know, she said...
I've been saying that for a long time. There shouldn't be just two-party systems, because either party is just too like extreme. The Republican Party is like too out there, you know. So is Democrats. You know, like I didn't agree about my kids getting taught about sexual fluidity in school. We went to go over there and talk to the teachers about it. And like my kids, like that should be it for the school system. Is supposed to be for school activities. You shouldn't be telling my kids of whether they, you know, they feel like some other gender. I don't agree with that. That's my responsibility as a parent to teach my kids about stuff like that. It's not the school system to be teaching my kids that. You know, I had a big issue with the school system like that. You know, and I know a lot of people that wouldn't say it out loud. You know, that I feel like that stuff should be for the parents. You know, like everybody could live however they want to live. You know, that's what I believe. Everybody could live however they want to live, but the school system should be just about school system, about, you know, learning history, math, etc. It shouldn't be about teaching our kids either feel about their gender status. Because I'm a Christian, you know, my faith, because of my faith, I don't believe in that stuff, right? But I don't go and tell everybody you gotta live the way I live. Just because I'm a Christian, you don't have to be a Christian. If you wanna rock out, you know, and being gay and all that stuff, you know, that's fine. You know, but don't push it in the school system, because that's the parents' way. That's the parents' responsibility. You know. Let's say somebody likes to drink, right? And you go to this party, right? And everybody's drinking, but you don't drink. I'm not gonna take offense if you don't. If I tell you, hey, you want a beer or something like that, and you say no, I don't drink. I'm not gonna take offense to that. That's your choice. It should be like that in life. Nobody, and like, if you want to be, gay and all that stuff, that's fine. Everyone has the right of, however you want to live, as long as it's not affecting other people. Like I said, the Dearborn thing I was talking about earlier, the Dearborn thing. If you want to be Muslim, that's fine, but don't be putting in speakers at 5 a.m. blasting prayer. That's disrespectful. You're impeding other people's way of life. It's fine that you're Muslim, go rock with that, but don't hurt other people's way of life based on your beliefs. That's not America. America's about respect. Once it starts affecting other people, then that's an issue. Like I said, the Democrats lost the election because they were going too hard about the. I always forget how many letters there's, LG, but whatever. I said the alphabet, right? The alphabet people. They were going too hard about the alphabet people. It's fine that maybe you don't believe that you're a guy. It's fine that maybe you don't believe you're a girl or that you're a they, them. But don't be trying to put that on other people. And I feel like other people got tired of that. And that's why even the Hispanics voted for the Republican Party. Because they felt pressured to be adjusting to other people's way of life. What about my way of life? Am I wrong? I think that's the main reason. The main reason Democrats lost the last election was because the alphabet people. They're putting way too much pressure on gender equal bathrooms, on teaching kids at school about gender. What's it called? I forget what they called it. But they're confused about the gender. They were putting this in history, like not in history, like in teachings. I didn't agree with that. Because me as a Christian, now you're crossing the line between, am I the parent or are you the parent? Right? I'm the parent of my own kids. I teach them how I want to see fit based on my beliefs. Your job as a school system is to teach them about school stuff. Not about whether they believe they're a girl or a guy or a they or them, pronouns or whatever. I don't agree with that. That's my responsibility. I'm the parent. Not the school system. And I feel that's why a lot of Hispanics and Black people voted for Trump the last election, because they were tired of the alphabet people infringing upon their rights. The Democratic people were going way too hard on that. Plus the Venezuelan stuff where they were living on welfare. That killed the whole movement. That killed the whole thing. Plus Biden, him running, not putting himself aside. Everybody could tell that Biden was not right. In the mentality, everybody could tell that he was not right. Those three things killed the last election. If the Democratic Party would have found somebody balanced, not so hard with the gender fluid thing and all that stuff, and if that candidate would have been like, we're gonna secure the borders. I don't agree with what Biden did. We feel like there's people mooching out the system. I feel like they would have won the race, to be honest, just with those two things. But they didn't. They doubled down. Oh, and Biden not dropping out the race soon. And I don't think that that Kamala was the right candidate either. They should. What the Democratic people need, if they really want to win the race, they need somebody young and somebody fair. That seems like a fair person. Maybe they win that way. But I'm saying the way they lost the race last time is because of that. Everything was so gender, like you would get canceled saying something about the LGBT, whatever they're called. You would get canceled, right? Oh, you're not too progressive or whatever, The thing that I think they lost a lot of people on is when Kamala said we need to lock him up, Elon, for allowing free speech on Twitter. We need to lock him You need to lock up Elon for allowing free speech on Twitter. Rain, can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Yeah, man, you can't say nothing on anything, you will get canceled. It's kind of the same way about what's happening right now, you know, but not with the Jewish stuff. You say anything about the Jewish stuff, you get canceled. I'm telling you, like every time thing just moves on to a different thing. You know, last year was about Hamas. You know, you had to be pro-Israel to get canceled. Before that, what was that before that? The LGBT, yeah, because Biden just got out of here. So the LGBT thing, what's out of here? You know, if you say something about gay people, you get canceled. You know, that's why people like went to Rumble. You know, and people went everywhere, and I think everybody got tired of the woke stuff, of the snowflake stuff. That you couldn't say anything, you couldn't offend anybody, otherwise you would cancel it. People got tired of that too. You know, I feel that's what the Democrats fucked up. You know, like they messed up with that. You know, you gotta have a balance. Kamala said on the campaign trail, Elon Musk should be put in prison for allowing free speech on Twitter. Oh yeah, because he had banned Trump, right? He had banned Trump from Twitter too. He had banned Nick Fuentes from Twitter too. You know, freedom of speech is one thing we should always protect. You know, and I feel like, and the same thing, the Democratic people, you know, went too hard on with the LGBT, they get canceled and all that stuff when they're trying to implement that. I feel that that's a mistake Trump is doing again today with the whole immigration thing, saying that he's gonna revoke naturalized citizenship from people that did it the right way. He's putting fear in those people. Those people have kids. Those people have family members. They're not gonna forget this. Feeling oppressed and all that stuff, he's messing up because he's putting people are gonna have a vendetta against him in a way. Now, the next election. Next year is 33 Senate seats. I feel, because what he's doing, those 25 million naturalized citizens, they're going to go blue. They're going to go blue because they have no other choice. You're telling me you may try to denaturalize me if I speak against you or if I don't agree with you? They're going to go blue. They're getting pushed into that corner. And that's a fact. You know? The lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils right there. He said that in 2026, he's going to start to denaturalize 200 citizens or try to, you know, people can hear that. They're like, you know what? F it. I'm going to go blue. I mean, I agree with blue, but you're telling me my way of life is going to be affected if I don't agree with you. I'm just going to go over there. You know, but I do agree with you, Rain, about there should be at least 4-party system. Yeah, but you know, what are we gonna do? The independents, nobody votes independent. How many votes did they get last time? You know, it's just crazy. Like you know, it just feels like everything gets pushed here every 4 years. You know. There's no constant, you know, there's not like, I don't know how to describe it, man. There's like no middle we can just stay at. Okay, this affects you, are we going to fix this? This affects you, we're going to fix this, you know? Like I said, LGBT or whatever, they would have rock on, you know, like, I have gay friends, and they're not like that extreme. And they will even tell me, like, man, you know what? I think those guys are actually hurting. They're hurting the movement. Because you would see these gay people, and then you would not know they were gay, because they did it on their personal time. I started having issues with it when I started seeing a tranny. He was like 60 years old, something like that. Reading my child. And my child was in pre-K. You know, back then, you wouldn't really see it like that because they were doing their own personal time. Like, you would see, like, oh, they go to this nightclub, which is, you know, they chill there. It's just fine, you know? But once my kid told me, like, hey, Dad, why is this person dressing like a girl? you know, and he's 4 years old. Then that's when I have an issue with it. Because like I feel like in a way you implanted a seed. And it's not me not being against that way of life. It's just me saying that if you have that way of life, it shouldn't be in school. You know? Because now you're putting a seed in my kid that he didn't have before. It's kind of like, you know, when you live like in a ghetto neighborhood, not a ghetto neighborhood. Well, yeah, in a way, right? When I grew up in a poor area, right? You start seeing drugs, right? You start seeing people smoking. You know, eventually, if you're around this stuff, you gotta maybe try it. You know, but I think the LGBT community needs to vest their activists because the activists do more harm to the community. Exactly. Like I said, I don't have nothing against them. Just because I'm Christian doesn't mean that I'm gonna tell you you're living a sinful life, this and that. No, because I choose to be Christian. I have my own thing. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but my way of life does not affect you. But when your way of life is affecting me, when my kids start seeing stuff like that, I don't agree with that. And it's not me being hateful or anything like that. I don't care. I have a lot, bro. I've had like a lot of gay friends, and they invited me to the parties and all that. And then when I went to the party, there was a transvestite person there, and I didn't have no issues with it because that's their environment in a way, right? And they invited me, share that experience with them. I have no issues. But when I start seeing that in schools is an institution where we send our kids to get an education, right? If my kid comes up to me, let's say tomorrow, right? And he's like, "Hey, Dad, you know, I feel like I kind of like boys or you know, whatever." I have no issue with it because that seed didn't get implanted on him. Maybe he does feel like that, you know. But when if you start seeing it everywhere, you know, then you know eventually people gonna be like, you know, am I? You know, you put that doubt in their minds. Kids are like a white sheet of paper. Whatever you put in front of them, that's what they're gonna pick up on. I'm like I said, I'm doing the Christian way of life. I don't agree with stuff like that. Doesn't mean my kid comes up to me and tells me, you know, this and that. But if that comes naturally from them, not being implanted by the media, not implanted by somebody else's way of life. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. You know, like I don't know. I think that's what those everybody got tired of that, like that last election, and because of that, they lost it. But now, with the whole immigration stuff, scaring people, the Republican Party is gonna lose that support. Because now you're not just either, like I said, the Republican Party would just focus on illegal immigration, right? Picking up the felons, you know, the people that do the hideous crimes. I don't think it's a big issue. But when you start seeing it in the media, how they're chasing people, right? And at Home Depots. You know, if you start, let's say in a way, like I'm walking with my kid, right? And I'm a citizen, right? And then I don't know where somebody comes in the car and starts chasing and starts grabbing me and telling me, "Are you a citizen?" This and that. My kid's gonna remember that. That's gonna traumatize them. Why are we getting picked on? Is it because I'm brown? Is it because my dad's brown? You know? And then the Constitution has a reasonable search and seizures. Yeah, Border Patrol could ask you whether you're a citizen, but there's a way about it. There's a way about things. Let's say you're walking down the street, right? Remember that scenario I just said, right? I'm walking towards Home Depot. A car comes out. 3 or 4 guys come out aggressively, come at me and detain me, telling me, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" This and that. And I'm with my kid. My kid's gonna remember that. Let's say that we're in a different way, right? We're working to Home Depot. We casually see, you know, a Border Patrol guard. He's like, "Hey, sir, I just want to ask you, are you a U.S. citizen?" "Yeah, I am." Wouldn't that be a whole different thing? It's perspective. If somebody comes to you aggressively, sorry, let's watch this video. You know, I got but you guys don't follow me at JMV Pod. I upload a lot of hype videos, and I do it because I don't like getting different links. You know, I don't like going looking for 1,000 links. I rather just when I see the videos, I upload them. You know, I don't invoke like violence. I don't agree with that. It's just an easier way for me to like save them when I do my reviews, right? But when and then, like I said, when people say this, right, the raids and all that stuff, it puts fear on people. And yeah, maybe they are getting the well, what Trump says, the bad hombres and all that. And I agree with that. You know, if they know that there's a bad person, a convicted felon, a gang member, and this and that, yeah, go get them. But when you're raiding like Home Depots, right? When you're walking like this construction worker,
Nomás siéntate ahí, cuñado.
then when they're working like outside, right?
Private
And you come out like that. You come out like that. That was not needed. Okay, I agree they have a job, right? But if they would have just come like, you know, hey sir, we see you working. I just want to ask you one quick question. Are you a U.S. citizen? The interaction is different. The experience is different. You know, instead of coming like, oh, aggressively, there's a way about things. There's a way about things. Like I said, I know Border Patrol has to do their job, right? But when they come this aggressively with masks on,
Get the fuck out of here.
you know,
That's fine. Private property.
it creates the hostility environment. Yeah, maybe this guy, they didn't have to say, you know, get the F out of here. But he did it in a way because the way they came up on him. But like I said, if they would have just been walking, right? And hey, sir, I just want to ask you a question. Are you a U.S. citizen? And then, you know, you don't come with a mask on and everything. It's different. The experience is different.
Private property. There's nothing for you to do. Get the fuck out of here.
This actually is public property, sir.
Sure, but this is private property. Get the fuck out of here.
And then it looks like the Border Patrol, you know, acting, you know, courteous. But just because he came running, you go on flight mode, you know.
This is public
This
property.
is where it ends.
This is where
This is where it ends.
Are you a United States citizen?
This is where it ends. I don't have to talk to you. Bye.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're not going anywhere.
I don't have to talk to you. Bye.
This is not.
This is
private
where it
property.
ends.
This is not private property.
That's
where I
where it
am.
ends.
Okay.
That's where it ends.
Okay, I understand that. I understand
Good.
what you told me.
As long as we're on the same page.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yep. Go for what?
Whatever it is that you need to do, do it.
Oh, they just let him go. Yeah, I'm talking about, it's all about the experience. If they would have just come to walking on the street, hey sir, are you a U.S. citizen? He says yeah. He says no. It's different, you know. Like, just perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. And that's what I'm saying. That I went over here based on the thing. Like, once you start infringing other people's way of lives, that's when people have an issue. You know, like I said, the last Democratic thing was LGBT. This time is immigration. Everybody's gonna remember that. There has to be a balance. Yeah, if you're gonna get the illegals, get the bad ones out. But maybe the ones that are paying taxes and all that is different. You know, contribute to way of life, adjust into American way of life, which is one of the most important things ever. You know, like what happened with Dearborn, like I was saying earlier. You know, they're changing the American way of life by putting the speakers up and doing prayer at 5 in the morning. You know, and it's really bad in Dearborn. Like I was watching videos. You know, but anyway, let's go back to. Sorry, I went on a rant. You gotta stop me when I go on a rant.
Silence her on this forever. Like it doesn't have to be an oral word. It could be like a text or an email. Maybe that's the best way to see if we can put this to bed. But Erica really felt that they should sit down together face to face. And I've gotten to know Candace a little better over the past months, and I actually thought she might do it. Like, I wasn't sure, but I don't know. An invitation from Erica would be hard to resist. And she said, you know, would you please come and facilitate it, really? Just like they were going to have the discussion, but Erica's thought, and Candace originally wanted to do this too, was for them to live stream this out that same Monday that the Turning Point guys were going to live stream their event. And of course, I'm like, oh, my mother of God, what am I getting myself into? But I actually felt like it was divine right order. And I have to tell you, Jack, I've prayed so many times to Charlie and to God to give me the right guidance on how to handle this whole thing. The fracture within the conservative movement, my friends turning on me because I won't call out my other friends like Tucker. This dust up between Candace and Erica, and Turning Point and Erica, Turning Point and Candace, which is fraught, and yet I understand. I know people are very angry at Candace right now, and I understand it, but I have to say, and Ben, yet another thing he mocked me for was saying she was a young mother. Well, Candace had literally just had a baby. And I'm sorry, maybe Ben doesn't understand, but that is a vulnerable position for a woman. And then her friend got shot in the neck. And so I did think she deserved a wide berth right after Charlie's death to explore what she wanted to explore. I had real empathy for her. And of course, I don't agree with what she's said about Turning Point and Erica, and she knows that. But my point was simply that I thought maybe Charlie helped me understand, to keep my powder dry in the whole thing, so that maybe I could be in a position to help it happen. It's what Erica wants. Maybe Candace does want an off-ramp, and I'm willing to try. So Candace and I were in touch, and she was very nice. She said, I'm thrilled it's you. I'll do it. So they were going to do it out here in Arizona, and then there was a security issue. Candace said that she couldn't come. And then Erica said, I'll go to you. I'll go to Nashville, which is just extraordinary. I mean, Erica's been all over the country trying to honor Charlie's commitments on his book tour. She was exhausted. She had this coming up this week. I mean, she's going through, she has 2 babies at home she's now a single mother to. But she really wanted to put this to bed, and so she said, I'll go to you. And then it morphed into, let's not do the live stream. Let's just do it, the 2 of us, which I thought was great. So they both went in there. Erica brought a trusted friend and employee here, and Candace had someone very close to her, and by all accounts from both women, had a very good meeting. Now, will it last? Where does it go from here? I was joking earlier, what's more tenuous, the Gaza peace deal or this situation? What I really want is for Candace to move on from Turning Point and Erica. I have no problem with her asking questions, but not about them.
I didn't realize she had 4 minutes of Spanish.
I also object, for the record, to the people who have tried to shut Candace down entirely on inquiring into what, if any, role did Israel have here? And I want to make clear, I don't think Israel had any role. I think Tyler Robinson killed Charlie. My only question is whether there was some trans-Tifa element that helped him. However, it's okay to ask questions about Israel. And it was Andrew Colvett, the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show, who sent those texts to the FBI of Charlie's, from that private message. It wasn't a text, it was private messages, like a group chat, in which he said the Jewish donors to Turning Point were driving him up the wall, and that he'd had it with them, and that they were making demands of him that he was not prepared to meet, and he was at his wit's end. And he had told me personally that he found their behavior, and I quote, repulsive. So I was fine.
Also, the Jewish people were...
Again, I don't think Israel had anything to do with it, but why did I have an obligation to stop Candace from asking those questions? I didn't, and I didn't call her out because I favored her asking them.
So then, Megan, what is the way forward? What is the way forward for the right, for Turning Point? Charlie is on assignment with God. Erica is here now. The organization is here now. What is the way forward for the movement?
Look, I think we're far more united than we are divided. And I think while...
I agree.
Right? Yeah, I think we're far more united. I mean, I would just put one final period on the pro-Israel activists, which are not to be confused with regular Jewish Americans who are lovely and don't run around trying to tell you what you can and cannot say. But I think they need to stop being such ardent bullies because it's dividing our movement unnecessarily over a country that is not ours, over Israel, not America. We need to care about America. America first is the principle that will get us through. And I think we need to remember that the people who are literally killing us, like literally killing us, are the ones who are the true enemy. These crazy radical leftists are the ones about whom we need to worry, not our own side.
You know, Megan, we only have a couple of minutes left. I just wanted to tell you, would you guys mind if I embarrass Megan a little bit? If that'd be okay, a little bit? No, hold on. I'll tell you the story, because it's actually embarrassing to me. That you don't know this, but about a decade ago, when I was still in the military, when I was in my Navy unit, we would be there in Navy intelligence, and of course, in my office, we only watched Fox, right? And every single day while we were watching there in the military, we'd be sitting, we would have on the Kelly File. And believe it or not, folks, this is I just want to let you know.
Do it.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, but the other day on CBS, you had another brilliant Bari Weiss idea. She decided, I'm going to do a town hall with Erica Kirk so she can yell at Americans. Real great idea. Some of the other brilliant ideas she had.
Man, they're going hard for each other, though. Can't lie.
Alan Dershowitz debate Dana Loesch on guns. That was weird, and nobody gave a shit about that one. She had Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice in conversation. It's another one nobody gave a shit about. These are all the ideas that Bari Weiss thinks are, like, brilliant. The real reason Bari Weiss now runs CBS is very simple. The new owners, the Ellisons, they want to make sure that CBS does not go too hard on Israel and does not go too hard on MAGA. That's the whole point. But Bari Weiss is also a total failure. She's failed up her entire life. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She ran her little thing called the Free Press, and she was getting like 6,000 or 7,000 views per video on YouTube. And now she's running CBS, a media empire. It's absurd. They said she got paid, what was it, like $150 million or $200 million for the Free Press? That's preposterous. If she's worth $150 million or $200 million, Secular Talk is worth like $10 billion, right? Like, that's ridiculous. It's absurd. Of course it's not fucking worth that much. She's basically a henchman for the billionaire class and a henchman for Zionism. That's what it is. And a henchman for, you know, enlightened centrism. She's going to go softer on MAGA. So anyway, she does this town hall with Erica Kirk. And, man, look, Erica, stop talking. You're not helping. Remember when I tweeted that spicy-ass Erica Kirk meme, and New York Post wrote an article about me, and all these right-wing outlets wrote articles about me, and all of right-wing Twitter. I was the villain of the day on right-wing Twitter. Here we are. However, what is this, like a month or two later, and now, all of a sudden, everybody agrees with Kyle. Everybody's making fun of this disgusting display of profiteering off of Charlie's death, right? Which is what's happening. They're grifting off of Charlie. She's got a book. She had a book like this, a book out of nowhere she created. And now she's going on all these shows and shit. And it's a mix of like, send us money, send us adoration. But if you point out how weird this is that I'm on a world tour after my husband got shot in the neck, well, then you're a terrible person. It's not working. Even Republicans are like, what the fuck is this? So anyway, you all know there's this right-wing civil war going on. Nick Fuentes is part of that right-wing civil war. But even he's like, you know what? Even you would think that, you know, there'd be clear defined sides in this civil war at this point. But there's not anymore. It started out with like Tucker and Candace and Nick against like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro and those types. But now everybody seems to be fighting with everybody else. So
that's true.
So
that's true. Now with the oh man, that's crazy. Man, we're going down the rabbit hole, bro. We've been streaming for almost 2 hours.
Nick is fighting not only with Candace, but now also with Erica Kirk, even though he's with Erica Kirk in the sense that he doesn't think Charlie was killed by some grand conspiracy. He thinks Tyler Robinson did it. So he's a natural ally of Erica on this issue. But even he's so put off by how she's acting that now he just laid a brutal smackdown on her on his show while talking about this disgusting display of a town hall. Watch this.
So Erica Kirk does a show with Bari Weiss on CBS. It's like a town hall. It's going to air this weekend. They published the clip. And Bari Weiss says to Erica, she goes, what do you have to say to Candace Owens and these people that are pushing conspiracy theories? And Erica, like, dude, oh my. And the Oscar goes to Erica. Her face, her expression hardens and she goes, stop. And we're supposed to be like, oh, whoa, she means business. No, okay. You stop. No. You need to stop. Did you guys see the
This Civil War is crazy. And now he's beefing with Erica.
Clip. So she's on with the Israeli spy, Barry Weiss, after she's grabbing J.D. Vance's ass. And Barry Weiss goes, so what do you have to say to Candace Owens, who built her business lying about blah, blah? And Erica Kirk makes this like face. She goes, stop. That's it.
And by the way, I'm the bad guy for saying this before anybody else. I was the bad guy for saying this before anybody else was saying it. Now everybody agrees. Always vindicated in the long run. Always vindicated in the long run.
And we're supposed to be like Saint Olga in the flesh. The battle cry of the cries of the widow. Like, come on now.
I mean, is he wrong? He's not wrong. By the way, to be fair, Candace had said, if Erica tells me to stop, I will stop. She had said that in the past.
Yeah, she did
So
say
now
that.
Erica did the whole thing where she says, stop. You're not going to take a wild guess what Candace said in reaction to that. She said, oh, of course I'll stop. But tell me what lie I've told. This is what Candace said. Because Barry set up the question by saying, there's a lot of people lying about what happened to Charlie in the aftermath. What do you say to those people spreading conspiracies? And Erica said, stop. And so now you have Candace going, I'll stop lying. But guess what? I haven't been lying. So there's that, right? Like, you want me to stop lying? Done. I didn't lie before. I'm not going to lie in the future. So I'm going to keep talking about that stuff. Sorry. So, look, it is a 180 from Candace saying she would stop if Erica told her to stop. But Candace's, loophole, her wiggle room was like, oh, I will stop lying, but I haven't lied yet. So it is what it is. You're going to have to deal with it. So there is no way. I don't know what Erica Kirk thinks she's doing. Do you think this is actually going to work? Like, if anything, you're making it worse. And by the way, now Erica came out and said, oh, on December 15th, I'm meeting with Candace Owens, and we agreed to, and December 15th is actually today. We agreed to not talk about anything further until we have that meeting. And I don't know what Erica's thinking. You think there's even a fucking 20% chance of you coming out of this meeting with Candace and Candace goes on her show and says, sorry guys, turns out I was mistaken. And there's not a massive conspiracy and cover-up going on. And so I'm going to leave this alone for now. There's no way. Candace is going to take whatever you say in that meeting and use it against you. Right?
Damn. But I don't know what if Nick goes against Erica, where's those followers gonna ship to? We should make like a. Okay, I wish I had something here to put like where everything is going now. Because we did agree that by what was her name? Megyn Kelly. By Ben Shapiro like going against her, he lost followers, and she went to Nick's side. But now that Nick is going against Erica, where's the support gonna be? You know, where's it gonna go at? So Kelly, he's not beefing with Ben Shapiro, and she goes to Nick Fuentes' side. But Kelly is friends with Erica. So does it mean that she's gonna switch back to Erica? And then who's Erica gonna support now? All right, man, this Civil War is confusing.
Right? And she might even make up some shit about what you said in the meeting. So I don't know what Erica thinks she's doing. I don't know what TPUSA thinks they're doing. You're punching above your weight. Everything you've done in the wake of Charlie being killed has fed what Candace is doing. The fact that you motherfuckers were fundraising day one. What was that? The fact that you have Erica Kirk posting a video on like fucking TikTok or Instagram or wherever it was, where she's holding Charlie Kirk's dead carcass hand and like crying over it. This incredible, what's supposed to be an intimate moment, sharing it with the world in this pathetic grift attempt. Disgusting. You think if I got shot in the neck and killed, Crystal would record a video of her holding my hand when I'm in the casket and fucking post it? Are you kidding me? That's disturbing. Everybody knows that's disturbing. Don't play this bullshit of like, oh, that's normal behavior. The fuck it is. So anyway, there's no way this is going to go the way Erica Kirk wants it. I don't know what she's doing. And I got people like Nick, who's on your side, is now going against you because this is so cringe. It's so try hard. It's so over the top.
The battle cry of the cries of the widow. Like, come on now. It's enough already. It's enough. It's really bad at this point. Like, you're not a good actress. This is not a compelling performance.
I call her an
Nobody
actress.
is buying
That's
this.
wild.
Yeah, by the way, where are your kids? You're everywhere but with your kids. I see you on TV all the time. I see you doing events and shit. I see you running TPUSA. Shouldn't you be with your kids? What is this?
I am not a Candace Owens fan at all, as you know. That doesn't mean that this does not stink. Like, this performance does not stink. Just drop it. Can you just be fucking normal? Because it's obvious that you're acting. It's obvious that you are putting on a facade.
Yeah, and they're fundraising off of Charlie's death. They're using this moment. They're monetizing this moment. That's what they're doing. And they did it like that right away. As soon as it happened, they did it like that.
That is hurting your credibility, and it's hard for anyone to be able to take their side when that is what they are offering. You know, the first week, nobody could say anything because you can't. When she did her speech on the Charlie Kirk show, and then she did the memorial, and then she was on the show again, and nobody could say anything. But now, here we are on the second wave, second leg of the tour. The handkerchief is back and better than ever. The handkerchief is actually sort of disappointed. Erica Kirk's handkerchief was recently beaten out by the Artificial Intelligence founders for Time Person of the Year. Should have gotten it. The handkerchief was the runner-up, so it was a little bit disappointing, kind of crushing. You know, they thought they had it, but didn't get it. The handkerchief is back and bigger and better than ever. It is making an appearance. We are on the second leg. We are on the 67th leg of the Erica Kirk tour. And honestly, though, it's just like, who's buying that? You remember when she gave the speech and everybody said, I've seen that expression before. It's like St. Olga. Don't mess with the... Come on. What is this now? What is this? It's like a Disney movie. Now what? She's the badass chick? She's going to be doing acrobatics and she's going to be flipping guys over her head? They think it's like a movie. It's one of these like girl power movies. She's with Barry Weiss. She goes, stop. And we're supposed to say, shiver me timbers. Mike, this is terrifying. Oh my gosh.
He said, shiver me timbers.
We're supposed to say, shiver me timbers. Mike, this is terrifying. Oh my gosh. Scary. It's not scary. You're not tough.
What they tried to do is muzzle people. They tried to censor people. They tried to make sure you don't ask questions. You weren't allowed to point out.
I don't think that was right for her to be. Man, this guy has some good points. Like, as soon as Charlie Kirk died, she posted the photo where she's holding his hand, and then they monetized on that. You know, with the fundraising. And then now they're trying. Man, it's so hard. This Civil War is crazy. And it's gonna end up hurting them at all. It's gonna end up hurting them, the party, not their party, because So Nick Fuentes was Ben. So let's recap. It was Ben Shapiro, Nick Fuentes, right? And then Kelly was like in the middle, kind of supporting Ben Shapiro. Then they do the tour. Ben Shapiro then criticizes Kelly. Kelly comes out and says, "You're not my friend no more, Ben Shapiro." Kind of goes to Nick Fuentes' side. Now Nick Fuentes goes and criticizes what's her name? Erica Kirk, which is friends with Kelly and is friends with Candace Owens. And now Candace Owens and Erica Kirk kind of pieced it up. So is Kelly gonna go back to supporting Erica Kirk? Who's gonna, man, this Civil War is crazy. Like Nick Fuentes is driving out of support, like I said. Man, this party's a mess. I ain't gonna lie, this party's a mess. And it's just gonna end up costing them the election next year. Because Nick Fuentes is grabbing all the support in a way. He's gonna rally against the next candidates that are kind of extremists. And they're not gonna win. Maybe they would have won in the 80s when there was the minority of, because whites are, in a way, are the minority now. In a way, white people are the minority now. and the blacks and the Hispanics take a large portion of how the elections are going. So if Nick Fuentes starts supporting candidates that are extremists, then Erica Kirk, Kelly, Candace Owens, and Ben Shapiro are going to be supporting Republican candidates that fit their agenda. It's just going to split their votes. So, you know, it's crazy. So what happens if the Republican Party does not agree with each other? Are they going to vote for just independent? Like what happened in New York? You know, with Cuomo? Cuomo didn't get the Democratic candidacy for mayor. So what he did, he ran independent.
Things you found curious. You weren't allowed to say, hey, why is she running her hands through J.D. Vance's hair? That's a very intimate thing to do. Then she tries to say, oh, I do that to everybody. Please, please. Running her hands through J.D. Vance's hair. He had his hands on her hips. She was wearing these like fucking leather clubbing pants at what's supposed to be a serious event around J.D. Vance. Why did she say publicly that J.D. Vance reminds her of Charlie? This is after his death. She said this. That's insane. That is nasty, nasty work. Why did J.D. at the same time publicly say that he wants his wife to convert, throwing his wife under the bus? Why was her head on Jesse Waters' chest? That was weird. Why was she immediately fundraising off of Charlie's murder? Why did she post those creepy videos on social media? Why were there fucking pyrotechnics at his funeral before she spoke like it was a WWE event or some sort of celebration? Nick himself said it was like WrestleMania. His fucking Charlie's funeral was like WrestleMania. Why did she immediately jump to take Charlie's position at TPUSA as soon as he was killed? Why were there videos of her crying when it's 100% proven that there were no tears? These are all things people are asking, and it's perfectly reasonable to ask
Everything's
these
like
things.
a show now.
Why is she hopping in front of every single camera in fucking existence? Somebody explain that to me. You're not allowed to put yourself front and center and then get mad when people react to you being front and center. If you want to be the grieving widow and you actually played that role, then it actually would be taboo for anybody to disagree with you or anybody to say negative things about you. But you simultaneously try to be the grieving widow who's above criticism while also saying, no, I'm going front and center and I'm the head of TPUSA and now I'm going to be like the star of the show. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. And so it's backfiring. And when even Nick, who's on her side when it comes to the conspiracies with Charlie Kirk, when even he's like, what are you doing? You know, they shit the bed and jumped the shark, and it is super clear to see. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the...
Ah, that's crazy. Oh. So let's recap. Let's recap what we learned in the last 2 hours streaming and trying to get down this rabbit hole. Ben Shapiro is pro-Israel. He's America First too, pro-Israel. Nick Fuentes is America First, pro-white. They're both clashing. Nick Fuentes goes on Ben Shapiro, kind of defeats him in a way, because Ben Shapiro did a video highlighting a whole bunch of clips of Nick Fuentes, which actually hurt Ben Shapiro, right? Ben Shapiro's on a tour with Kelly, Megyn Kelly. Then Ben Shapiro didn't get enough support from Kelly, so he criticizes Kelly, right? And Kelly goes and sides with Nick Fuentes, right? Then Nick Fuentes goes and criticizes Erica Kirk. Meanwhile, Kelly is trying to piece it up with Erica Kirk and Candace Owens based on what Candace Owens has been saying about Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk's death. So now, what are the Republicans gonna do? Nick Fuentes is grabbing a lot of support from the white nationalists and this and that. So I feel this is gonna be like two candidates next election, where it's hardcore nationalist Republicans versus kind of like having half softer Republican side, which is Erica Kirk, Ben Shapiro, and Kelly. It's just gonna split their votes. That's what's gonna happen. It's just gonna split their votes. You know, it's gonna be like I said with Cuomo in New York. The Democrats picked Mandani, whatever his name is. Cuomo still wanted to run, so he ran as an independent. I think that's what's gonna happen with the Republican Party now. Since Nick Fuentes is gonna probably push candidates that align with his agenda, pro-white, America first. Ben Shapiro, America first, pro-Israel, not being isolated in the international community. Nick Fuentes wants to be, focused on the problems here. Kelly is beefing with Ben Shapiro, supporting Erica Kirk. Now she's cool with Candace Owens. And those kind of like the face of the Republican Party. So who knows? Crazy. But let's move on. We're gonna move on to the immigration raids now. This happened in Minnesota. I got this video today. Is that they're basically getting chased. This couple's getting chased by immigration, and then they eventually make it to safety. I think somebody opened their apartment door building, and the ICE couldn't get them. I don't know what happened.
Ay, no.
Vaya.
Sí, mira.
Oh, look, they're there.
Ahí viene. Corran, que les abran. Que les abrieran la puerta. Que les abrieran. Córranle.
They're running for their lives, huh?
Córranle, métase.
Wow. They made it. That's crazy. Crazy, they actually made it. This is I don't know what location this was, but they tried to detain this girl.
Wasn't he detaining me? Call the cops. Call the cops after 9/11. Yeah, call the cops. Yeah, call the cops. 9/11. Record. Keep recording. Was I doing anything wrong? I was standing here, and I told the lady she wasn't doing anything wrong. She doesn't have to get off the car. So, yeah, no, I don't need to. Who the fuck is? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Call the cops. Hector, call the cops. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going. No, you don't have to move. They're intimidating you. They can't do nothing because you're standing there. I'm waiting for the cops. They're kidnapping me. Call the cops. Hector, you're on Hard Road. You're on Hard Road, and what street is this? What street is this? Hard Road and Emerald Parkway. Emerald Parkway. You're not taking me anywhere, man. You're not taking me anywhere.
Oh, that's Minnesota.
Take me.
I can tell.
Take me. Come on. Take me. Take me.
You're making it hard.
Take me. Take me. Take me. Take me. Take me. Take me. Take me.
She's just laying there on the floor.
Take me. Take me.
Good brother.
You're doing everything illegal. Why are you kicking
These
me?
guys are like, we don't
Kicking
get paid
me.
enough for this.
Ricardo,
I ain't
she's
kidding
kicking
her.
me. Why are you kicking me? I'm a U.S. citizen. I know my fucking constitutional rights. Why are you kicking me? Take me. You're taking me, right? Honey, you're Hector, call 911.
9/11,
They
9/11.
are doing injustice to... Yeah, don't touch me. Did I do anything illegal? No, I did. Do not touch me. Everybody, record. This is what we live in America. We live. Stop looking off my hood. Hey, you're the one touching me. I'm not even touching you. You're the one touching me. You are the one touching me. Don't ever fucking touch me. Did I break the law? Or are you going to arrest me?
She's not going. Not willingly. These guys are like, we don't get paid enough for this.
That's the difference. We know right. Recorder. She's pulling me. She's touching me. She's
That's Minnesota. You could tell, like, only they have that, like, the yellow thing on the thing. This guy's done with that. I'm out of here.
Record that stuff on the record them and call 911. Call 911, you guys. Please call 911. Call 911. They're detaining me unlawfully. Can't wait.
They're done with that. They don't like. They're like, I don't want to carry her.
I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't need to calm down. I can sit here and tell you to fuck off how many times I want. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Hector, you're recording. You record. They stopped. I saw them when they stopped my lawfully.
I'm doing this with the video.
Were they detaining me?
Home Depot 168.
And this is in New York, Home Depot.
No vengan para acá. No vengan para acá. 168 Home Depot. 168 Home Depot. Qué incredibilidad. 168 Home Depot. 168 Home Depot, Jamaica.
They got a lot of people though. They got a lot of people.
You see? A los ladrones no los agarran ni pinga. You see?
I don't know how they catch everybody snoozing like that though.
Jamaica. No coming over there. You see? You see?
Get up!
You see?
They must have just been sitting there and they just pull up on them.
You see? What? Ahora le digo yo, 168 Jamaica. 168.
I posted Chicago, but it's actually everybody kept telling me that's Minneapolis.
Malditos. Pobrecitos, a dos les agarraron. Esta gente dos, ¿verdad?
Looks like everybody in the restaurant is not trying to get out time.
Sí, le cruzaron. Aquí dieron la vuelta y les cruzaron.
Alright. This one, I might have to mute this one on YouTube. But apparently this guy's getting chased by ICE. And he goes this way. This guy locks the door and then the owner comes out. He's coming in. He runs. This guy holds the door. I think that's the shop owner. That's the ICE agent right there. Look at the lady. She's like, where do I go? Yeah, that's pretty much it. He stops there. This one's in Ohio.
Es de nosotros. Estoy embarazada yo.
He gets this couple with a kid. But this paisa, I'm calling him paisa because he looks Mexican as heck. He acts like he doesn't know Spanish.
Estoy embarazada.
¿Qué?
Estoy embarazada para que sepan.
Yo no puedo escuchar.
Embarazada. La niña es de nosotros. Estamos casados.
Oh, stop the cap. You know Spanish, bro. Stop the cap.
La niña cruzó tampoco con
usted,
o es un ciudadano.
Get out of here, bro.
No. Cruzó conmigo.
Yeah, you already know. You know you're Mexican.
La niña.
No. No es ciudadana.
¿Es un ciudadano de los Estados Unidos?
No, no. Te quita, mi amor. Estamos bien.
That's a dub though.
Cruzo together or separado?
Separados.
Separado.
Oh, they're cooked. They just gave everything away. And this is one where it says that Ohio has a rep in Columbus, Ohio. I'm not really sure what this place at, but they're all congregating.
I do.
Do you have it?
This is supposedly she says that she's a U.S. citizen, and this is in Ohio as well.
With you? May you present it?
Why am I being detained?
Do you have any identification, ma'am?
I do have an identification, but why are you
driver's
detaining me?
license or also operate a vehicle? Do you have any identification?
Yeah, but why am I being detained? Am I being detained? Like, why you stop me for?
The only reason is because I don't think ICE agents give you traffic tickets, so they can't really pull you over unless they have reasonable suspicion that you're not in the country or you're the target. You know, so I think that's what she's asking them.
Why did you stop me for?
Identification, it's all just gonna be verification.
I understand. I do understand, but why did you stop me for?
Reasons can be justified after.
Because you know, I'm no reasonable search and seizures.
I know. You tell me why, and then I'll give you my ID. Tell me why you stopped me.
It's not how it works. We're just working in the area.
Okay.
And we need to verify the identity of everyone in the area.
Okay, I understand that, but.
And that's the understanding. So
But why? Why am I doing?
On your way, ma'am.
What am I doing that make you stop me? Why? Because I'm brown?
Ma'am, if you do have
Is
your
it
ID,
because I'm brown?
check it out. You could be out of here in the next 30 seconds.
I understand that, but why am I being?
I think that, like I said, what she's saying is that no reasonable search and seizures.
Stop. Why am I being stopped? I'm gonna get you fucking
We
face,
just need
dude.
to verify.
Why am I being
identities.
stopped?
So we can.
I do understand that, but
I think you understand it. We
I-
appreciate cooperation,
yes.
and we'll be able to get you.
why did you stop me? That's what I want to know. Why? Because I'm brown? That's why?
No.
Then why you stop me? Because I'm not doing nothing illegal. I'm not doing nothing bad. I am not doing nothing. You can search my license plate.
You know, the same way that he's like, you know, he could just answer the question, but it's profiling.
It's there on my name, and then you can see who I
Can we
am.
verify that if we also actually have.
You can verify it by looking at my license plates.
Yeah.
He's wasting your time? Then get the fuck, get rid of it.
What was the car say?
Have a good day.
You're wasting their time. Oh, they
You
left.
don't have a good day. I do.
Do you have
Crazy.
it with you? May we present it?
There's a construction worker. I'm not sure what area it was.
Nomás siéntate ahí, cuñado. It's private property. Get
It
the
just
fuck
comes out of nowhere. Just, you know.
out of here.
That's fine.
Private
We're-
property.
we're-
Private property. There's
we're-
nothing for you to do. Get the fuck out of
This,
here.
this actually is public
No.
property, sir.
Sure, but this is
act-
private property. Get the fuck out
No,
of here.
this is actually.
Bye.
This
This is not.
This is public
This is
property.
where it ends.
This is where.
This is where it ends.
This is where, are you a United States citizen?
This is where it ends. I don't have to talk to you. Bye.
Yeah.
don't
That's
have to
fine.
talk to
That's
you.
fine.
Bye.
That's fine.
I don't have to talk to you.
We're not
Bye.
going anywhere.
I don't have to talk to
Okay.
you. Bye.
This is not. This is not.
This is
private
where it
pro-
ends.
This is not private property.
That's
where I
where it
am.
ends.
Okay.
That's where it ends.
Okay. I understand that. I understand
Good.
what you told me.
As long as we're on the same page.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yep. Go for what?
Whatever it is that you need to do, do it.
The protect. I think that's Chicago. It looks like Chicago.
This is public property.
Good.
Okay.
I'm glad you at least know that. You know, at least you know that. Good. You know, it's at least something. You know, can't really ask for much, but at least you know that. So you know, got that going for you. You got that going for you. Congratulations.
I'd like to have everybody's like.
Hoy somos los más.
Okay, we'll go here and we'll get this. So this the ice comes here and shows them a picture. I don't know if you can see the picture. Like, are you this guy? And then the picture zoomed in, he doesn't look like nothing like that picture. I don't know if you guys can tell the picture. I probably can't. He doesn't look nothing like him. Like, are you this guy? He's like, he's froze. Like, nah, bro, that's not me, brother. That's not me, brother. You got the wrong one. And then they actually leave. But you see his face, he's like, nah, hell no. Look at that. Look, he didn't even see him. He's like, oh, what? Oh, snap. Here's this guy. Even though the picture, I don't know if you can tell the picture. He has like a beard. Like, nah, that ain't me, brother. That ain't me, brother. Let's see. That has music too. This so supposedly in Chicago you can't change plates because it's an A-class misdemeanor, and I guess somebody caught them switching their plates. They had like a lot of plates in the back. He grabs one right now. See? This is the mayor of Evanston confronting Greg Bovino.
Right here. Mayor Biss of Evanston.
Why is that?
Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Back up,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Back up. Back up. Back up.
Just a little bit more. There you go.
I'm not going to stay. I'm going to go ahead. That's fine. I'm disappointed that you're disappointed. The abuse that you have done about residents is unacceptable.
I wish we could have better audio.
Racism is unacceptable. And the violence is unacceptable.
Yeah, I did. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We are in your community because you refuse to do what we are doing. Violence.
What violence are you concerned about?
Violence committed by those that shouldn't be here in your community.
I'm unaware of that happening.
Well, that's probably the problem. Maybe you should get aware of it.
Hey, Ovino, we don't want you here, bro. We don't want you here.
So a few minutes ago, a bunch of ICE and CBP agents were here. I stood face to face
Yeah, I
with
guess
Greg
they were right in
Bovino
Evanston,
here,
Illinois.
and he threatened us, said he's going to continue the enforcement. Of course, what he said was he's keeping us safe from violence, but what we know is that the violence is being perpetrated by federal agents. They had a conversation with our police chief. It sounds like they plan to be here throughout the rest of the day. I'm delighted to say there were tons of rapid responders. There were people pushing back. The tragedy is that as I saw with my own eyes 2 people who they abducted.
I think wasn't this mayor in the protest over there in Broadview? I think they caught him like
But what I would say is this: stay alert,
in front of cars.
stay active, keep yourself safe. If you're trained in rapid response, be out and about, and always remember the ICIRR hotline 855-435-7693. We need.
Let's go here. This is in Cicero, Illinois. ICE agents. They did like a surprise raid on Thursday. Oh, it's Border Patrol. My bad. Oh wait. I hate the music. I get like copyrighted. He tries to put him down. O'Hare. This is at the parking lot where the O'Hare the Uber drivers park so they get clients. This is a nice raid in Cicero. I got like 170,000 views on this one. Immigration is like chasing.
What's your phone number?
She's saying, help me, I have a little kid. I got a newborn kid, and that's Bovino. Oh no, let the guy videotape. He's saying, I have a newborn child, please let me go.
First Amendment, you can record as much as you want, gentlemen.
What are you guys doing in Chicago?
Title 8, Immigration Enforcement.
How long are you guys here for?
Well, we haven't left.
You guys planning on going back to New Orleans?
We're still in New Orleans. We're not going back. We're there.
No, you personally.
Hundreds. Okay, don't get too close here. Sorry.
Oh, I seen that little kid. That little kid's from like West Chicago or something.
What's going on, big guy? How you doing?
Hey, back.
And then we have this one. No, this is the one that got 107,000 views on TikTok. Oh wait, no, Facebook. As guys chasing boy in his party. And this is in Kenner, Louisiana. There were a lot of people there. Chicago. The Chicago area is called Cicero. Riding in brand new trucks. Yeah, the raid of Walmart, I think it was like last Thursday.
Oh shit. That's ice.
Palatine, Illinois.
Pinches culeros.
Yeah, they did like a surprise raid the other day.
Dice policía, pero yo no creo que sea policía. Se los agarraron de putazo. Frenaron, venían. Sí, son carros regulares. El señor iba pasando, el que está encerrado, y nomás agarraron, frenaron y se lo llevaron. O sea, nomás frenaron y todos de fregazo llegaron.
Then the guy was just driving, they parked, and then they took him. That's about.
Sí, es inmigración, culeros. Ay, no. Por eso no tenemos ni trabajo nosotros.
Hasn't been in time. Venezuela thing. Where we're gonna conduct the immigration raid, Chicago.
What's that? Oh yeah, a little bit. Little cold when I do that.
What's it like being back in Chicago?
I love Chicago. Chicago, ho ho! It's gonna be a Merry Christmas in Chicago, so we always love Chicago.
And what thing? Yeah.
What's that?
How many days ago?
Unknown at this time. We never quit.
You haven't rolled so far? The next 2 days are good.
Title 8 immigration enforcement. We're going to do one immigration law, and that's what we're going to do. And where have you been today? We've been to several locations, Cicero, Little Village, various other locations all over Chicago. We got a lot of people down here. Several hundred. Border and Albany as well. So, good guys. All right. Good stuff? All right. Oh, over here?
Yeah, they're really going hard on me. They were going hard. Anyway, he goes and gets told that he's not welcome.
Keep him away. Hey, keep that guy away. This is a neighborhood of hardware.
I have the right to film. I have the right to film.
Hey, keep him.
Nice in Minneapolis too. They hit Minneapolis as well. Those guys are everywhere. I don't know how much they get paid though. I'll mute this. So this guy's over here chilling, and then immigration comes. And I think after this we caught up with everything. Ooh. I haven't done 12 hours streaming in a long time. 2.5 hours. Oh. All right, we're just gonna go back to this. So for now that we watch all the immigration, we caught up with the immigration rates. Any statements explaining the Republican Civil War? I'm explaining the Republican Civil War. Ben Shapiro is Republican, pro-Israel, pro-America First, not for the United States, not to isolate itself in world order. Then you got Nick Fuentes, pro-white, America First, kind of extremist. Both ideologies don't collided, and it started like a Republican Civil War. Ben Shapiro was on tour with Kelly, Megyn Kelly. Then, because he wasn't getting enough support from her, he goes and criticizes Kelly. Kelly then goes and says, Ben, you're not my friend no more, and goes to Nick Fuentes' side. When that was happening, Candace Owens was beefing with Erica Kirk. So then Kelly, which is friends with both of them, reunited them. They kind of ended their beef. But then Nick Fuentes goes and criticizes Erica Kirk. So now Kelly's like in the middle. And that's what I got so far from this 2-hour podcast. So we're like looking into it. The Republican Party's a mess right now. You got Nick Fuentes, which is an extremist, thinking about, white nationalists. And then you got Ben Shapiro, pro-Israel. Who knows where it's going? But whoever Nick Fuentes supports the next election can be with his views, kind of extremist views, white nationalists. Then there's Ben Shapiro, pro-Israel, pro that the United States had to, be in war affairs in a way for the order to continue how it is. So I think that their votes are going to be split. And I think that's what they're going to lose next election. 33 Senate seats, are on the table. If they don't agree with each other, those 33 Senate seats, all the votes are going to be split between different Republican candidates. I think that this Civil War is going to affect them more ways than they think of. It happened to the Democrats. Those Democrats that were really extremists with the LGBTQ and everything. There were some that were more, conservative. Split their votes. Biden wanted to run for office. He dropped out too late for Kamala to pick up the new votes. I don't think Kamala was the right candidate either. It affected them. I think the story is just retelling itself again. And we'll see who wins. But anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate everybody watching me, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick, GMV Pod, on Instagram too. GMV Pod, but with a P-O-0D, P-O-0-D, because somebody took my name. So follow me on all social medias, GMV Pod. GMV Pod. On Instagram is P0D. Everywhere else is GMV Pod. It's on Facebook, on Twitch, on Kick, and all social media platforms.